Le Chemin, proudly sponsors On the Bank.
When it comes to the world of competition fishing, you really don't get anywhere near this event today. 2,500 anglers started off on a journey with one thing on their minds: a seat on the bus and a place in the history books. Nearly £75,000 is up for grabs today, and this is the final of Maver Mega Match This. So what is Match This? Well, it's a knockout competition, and throughout the course of the summer, 24 eliminators have been held, and only the winner gets a seat on the bus here. There is the money, but there is also this absolutely incredible trophy, and you've only got to look down that list there to see some of the biggest names in the UK scene.
I'm Andy Power, I'm from Wales, Somerset, and I'm 31.
Dave Burly from Rosington, and I'm 29.
I'm Nick Speed, I'm 47 years of age and I'm from Sheffield.
My name's Jamie Hughes, I'm 36 years old, I'm from the Wirral, and I'm an angling coach and a professional angler with Matrix.
I've been lucky enough to win a few big events. I won this in its first year back in 2011. I won the Golden Reel final last year at Larford. I've won Drennan Knockout Cup, I've won UK Champs twice. Yeah, just lots, but I won't go on.
I've been quite lucky in the past, so I've managed to win 3 Fishermanias. So this is I think this is my 8th Maver Match This final, and if I'm honest, I'd swap all Fishermanias for this. This is the one I want.
To win Match This again would mean everything again. Not just for the money purposes, but having name on that trophy back to back would be unreal.
To actually stand at the top of that podium and pick up that trophy at the end would be awesome, but I think the main achievement is actually getting here. The next step is to win it. But as we all know, these qualifiers are so difficult to win, so over the moon that I'm actually here and I've got a chance of winning it.
It would mean so much to me. Obviously I've come close to winning it a few times since I've won, and it would just make that heartache just worthwhile.
Match This is everything. It's the competition that I want to win. It's up there with, say, Fish Show and Golden Reel. They're the 3 that I spend my life chasing.
Well, the draw's been done, the guys are all in position now, and behind me here is the defending champion, Dave Burly. He won it here last year, he qualified again from here this year, and he's drawn a fairly reasonable peg. Well, Dave, you've drawn the right end and the right bank as well. How do you think about, what do you think about the peg?
Really happy. Well, I won it off peg 1 last year, so to draw in that area again, I'm really happy with it.
The weather's going to have a big effect on today, isn't it? It's going overcast and the wind's pushing down. There's going to be a lot of carp down this end.
Hopefully, yeah. I think that I've seen a few top now, so getting more and more excited.
How does the tow affect here? Because it narrows up and there's quite a big wind blowing. You know, a lot of people have been looking at peg 1, but it might be just that little bit too windy down there. You could get a bit back.
I think it'll come back slightly to this end a bit more, hopefully. I think there's a few fish sat in front, well, what I've seen.
Have you fished it in these conditions before?
Yeah, loads of times.
What's your opening gambit then?
I'm going to fish pole at 13 metres on deck and then just take it from there really. Then I think my next line will be a bomb line, and hopefully I don't have to move off of that till end of match unless I come short.
Fantastic. You've got a bit of space around you as well. You're out
a lot
of point.
Space, yeah. I think I'm going to feed my margin later on if out turns up there. It's just a throwaway line really, that one.
Now then, let's talk about this draw. This is the one everybody wanted.
Apparently so, yeah. To be honest, I've never been on this bank, but from what I gather, it is an area predominantly that throws up in big matches. So, can't moon at the draw, that's one thing. So,
we had a quick chat last night about pressure as well, because one of the things with drawing a supposed flyer is that it ramps the pressure up a little bit. How do you cope with that?
Well, I didn't sleep too well last night, to be honest. Normally, I don't have a problem, but because of the fact that you have drawn a good peg, it definitely adds the adrenaline gets going, you start overthinking things I think you can do. So I'm all right now. I think as soon as I catch a few fish, I think it'll be fine.
I don't think there's going to be anybody around this circuit that wouldn't feel the pressure of drawing a decent one.
Well, you draw a decent peg and you're fishing for 60 grand. I mean, it don't really get much more than that, does it? And this is our World Cup of fishing, you know.
Well, Jamie, draw's done now. Are you happy?
I am. Yeah, I am. I think I said yesterday, I didn't really know where I wanted to be. I had a few different ideas in my head of where the fish could be, but yeah, I'm on the grass bank, which is always a steady draw, especially with an island not too far away. I always fancy that. So yeah, I am happy, definitely. So I'm going to start short, try and get a couple of early fish, see how it's fishing, and then decide whether I'm going to start a long pole line or a bomb line, depending what mood they're in.
Excellent. The island's just to your left. It's a popular area. How much do you think that will have an effect on what you do?
Yeah, I'm just going to ignore it. I mean, it's not an option for me, so I'm going to completely forget about that. Luckily, I think with the pressure going a bit lower, I think they could be inclined to go a little bit deeper, so the island might be a bit of a moody option today. That said, with the wind and it's a good chuck from this bank, it could be difficult for the lads to fish there accurately anyway. So I don't think even if I drew on the island today on the next peg, I don't think it'd have been an option. I think I'd have discarded it altogether today.
Well, as always, I have an expert joining me on the bank to look at the proceedings of the day, and we've got a real one. It is all-round superstar Callum Dix. Now, anybody in the world of match angling knows who Callum is. Callum, lovely to see you.
Yeah, and you.
Big day today, isn't it? Big day.
Big match, big winnings. Yeah, it's good. It's a good turnout as well. There's a lot of good anglers spotted around the lake. So yeah, we're in for a fantastic match, I think.
Let's talk about the venue first and foremost. It's becoming now the Wembley of competition fishing, isn't it? All of the big matches are held here.
Yeah, it's great fishing. The fish are big, which is brilliant, because even with an hour and a half to go, you can still be in with a chance. 10 or 12 big fish late on can put you right back in the game. So yeah, it's a great venue. It's perfect for it. It's great for the spectators, and it looks fabulous as well. So
doesn't it just? It looks like we're in for quite a good day as well. We're hoping the rain will hold off. It's threatening. There's a little bit of spitting in the air at the moment, isn't there? But it's very good conditions. We've had a hot spell. It's dropped a bit cooler for the last couple of days now. It's probably going to get the carp on the feed, isn't it? I would think there'll be quite a good weight today.
Yeah, in a way, I hope it's not. I hope it's a low weight. I hope it's about 100, 110 pounds to win, because then that puts a lot more people into it. If it's a 150 to 170 pound match, I don't think there's loads of people that can win, but 100, 110 pound will always be a great weight. So hopefully a little bit more difficult, and the weather's a little bit tricky as well today.
I'm going to put you on the spot now. I've got to put him on the spot, haven't I? You know, everybody watching this will be thinking, where's it going to be coming from? Who's going to win it? I'm going to say, first, I'm going to get in before you now, I fancy Sam.
Yes.
That bottom end looks absolutely immense. Wind pumping down there, fish moving in front. Dave Burly knows what he's doing. And I would never, ever bet against someone like Jamie Hughes or Andy Power.
No,
and I know Andy's he's in the middle bit at the moment, but you can't ignore Andy Power.
The way it's been fishing, and I've spent a bit of time up here the last few weeks, exactly Hughes said it'd be perfect, but there's one other guy I think will be very dangerous. It's Craig Edmonds on peg 9, which is permanent peg 21. He's been a great peg all year, and he's a great angler. I've practiced with him a bit, so that's another one to put into contention. Just fancy him.
It's really funny, you know, when you look at the line first, you think, oh well, he's in it, and they're the two key pegs. But then when you scratch a little bit further, they've only got to have a wobble, and actually that opens the door to a lot more people. Look, the match is going to start very soon. You've heard enough from us two for the time being. Let's get on with the fishing.
Le Chameau proudly sponsors On the Bank.
So here we are, very nearly underway, as the competition is about to start here at Hayfield.
3, 2, 1.
And there it is, the cheers from the crowds as Andy Kinder starts proceedings here at the 9th Maver Mega Match This. So we're behind Craig Edmonds now, the favoured peg 9. Peg 21 is the permanent number for those that know this venue. And exactly as expected, Callum, he started short.
Yeah, it looks like pretty much everyone has started short on pellets as we expected. So it'll be really interesting to see who goes in and catches first and who can get a good spell going.
John Ashwell there on the other side, first fish of the tournament so far. Just a small one, but it's a bite and it shows there are fish short. Just looking down the length there now, and Sean Cook, peg 6, seems to be playing a fish. That looks like Going to be
Another stocky.
Yeah, just a
stocky.
little one there. And that didn't take too long at all, did it, Callum?
No,
Look at that. Craig Edmonds into a decent fish there. We see the orange of the elastic just stretching out behind that clump of reeds there on the puller kit straight away. And that's one of the joys of fishing short, isn't it? You can get them under control relatively quickly.
Yeah, he's only fishing 2 or 3 more sections past his top kit. So he's able to throw bait there as well, which is a great way of fishing. He can play his fish, he can take his time while still feeding his peg. That's one of the great things about fishing short, and that's why it can be so deadly.
His nerves are going to be absolutely jangling at the moment. He's missed a bite already.
He won Part Dean last year, so he's had some experience of big matches, but this is another level up from that. A lot more money. And
well, you know, we both fish at very, very high level as well, and you're always going to be nervous. Yes. There's never a time that you're not going to be nervous, and that first fish is just so important. It can set the whole day off, can't it? If you land a good one to begin with, your tail's up. If you lose a good one to begin with, all the way through the match you're thinking about that. Even though you're trying not to, you're thinking about what could have been, what you've lost, how much of an effect that's going to be. And that's when bottle comes in.
Yeah, it's so important just to take your time on the first one. Just nice and calm, relaxed, get it in, and then set your match.
Jamie Hughes now into a fish as well. That's not as big as the one that Craig Edmonds is into, but it's a fish. And if you give Jamie Hughes a sniff of anything at all, he's going to take advantage of that, isn't he?
Yep, definitely. There seems to be quite a few fish getting hooked short, some smaller fish, and there you go. Jamie's on his way.
A little smile on his face there. He knows he's up against it, and this is where he needs a carp landing net.
Yeah. And one thing I've noticed as well, whilst he's been playing it, I've seen 4 or 5 fish top in the area in his peg, so I would expect him to go back in and get some more bites.
Oh yes, saw 3 fish move there. They're moving a little bit further out as well.
So that island.
Yeah, there's definitely fish here.
Yeah.
And you'd think with the wind, oh, and another one again there.
Yeah, there's a lot of fish in this area, for sure. Oh, there we go.
This is it. This is the chance. He's reversing it up nicely. The hooters are on full blare. Is it in? Has he got it? It's that net.
Yes,
He's got it. He's got it.
Well done, Trig.
Let's have a look as he lifts that one up. It's nearly a 2-hander. That's a double-figured fish. Yeah. That is a brilliant result for him, which, to be fair, by all accounts, should not have come in. He's smiling.
What a great start for him.
Let's have a look at peg 8 now, and this is Ryan Mckinley to the left of Craig Edmonds. Quite a fancied area again, qualified at Partridge Lakes. He's had a steady start, not quite as fast as Craig, but I think this is his 3rd fish now.
Yeah.
Reasonable one as well, you know, that's a 3-pound fish.
Yeah, definitely. It's not the same stamp of fish as what Craig's hooked, but he's had as many bites, so he's definitely in contention.
Jamie Hughes in again. He had one about 5 minutes ago that came off. It looked like it was foul looked, but this one looks like it's square.
Definitely in the mouth, that one. Another decent fish.
If he lands this, I reckon he's neck and neck. If not, oh, it's not as big as I thought it was going to be. I was about to say, I think it's about neck and neck now with Trig.
Yeah.
It probably is there or thereabouts, isn't it? Let's have a look at this. Oh, there's a big swirl just behind him there. There's a lot of fish. Yeah. I reckon they're up in the water.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely looks like that. There's a lot topping towards that island. But the great thing about this peg, 2 to 3 metres up the island, you've got a bar coming away from it, and it's 4 to 5 foot deep there. So when those fish want to be in that depth, that's why this peg comes into his own.
And he's got it, and that is a decent fish. He's got to be towards 20 pound there, I would say now, and there's 20 minutes on the clock so far. And there are fish coming out all over the place, but to me, I have to say that at the moment, Craig Edmonds and also the man 2 pegs to his right, Jamie Hughes, they seem to be doing very well indeed. We've not been to the bottom end of the lake yet, but these 2, they're the ones that are moving and shaking at this end. So let's have a little look now at peg 1 and Sam Brown. This is a peg that everybody fancied, and Carl, coming down here you can see exactly why. The bay looks awesome, the wind's banging in, there's a few decent fish around. He's not had the best of starts so far. He's caught a few fish, but he hasn't really got through to the big ones yet. But how good does this area look?
It does look exceptional with this wind. I think there's going to be more and more fish pushing down here towards the end of the match, so you just never know. The size of the fish that can move down here, Could only take an hour, hour and a half, all of a sudden be back up in the race. And the blocker's got one on as well next to him, so it shows there's a few fish in the area.
And you know, the size of the fish that are in Hayfield, there are some very, very big ones in. Double figure fish, they're not uncommon. 7-8 pound fish, there are an absolute load of them, aren't there? And we're seeing weights coming up towards the end of the first hour. We're seeing weights around about the 20 pound mark, maybe 25 at a push that's leading the way. But 3 fish, which can come in no time at all, that can completely upset the apple cart. Let's just have a look at the blocker again and see what size of fish he's got on there. It's clearly a carp. He's had it on for a good few minutes now. Some big fish in here as well, aren't there?
Yeah, definitely. It doesn't take long, and it's the sort of method that you can catch them really quickly when they come into your peg. And that, looking at the way that rod's bent, it's going to be a big fish.
And if they're down there, there's every chance that they can come up a little bit and get in towards Sam's area too. They're going to be fishing similar tactics. And when you see how big this is, it looks like it's going to be double figures.
Yeah, the one we saw Sam just net as well, that was a good 7-8 pounds. So, and we've seen a couple of tops since we've been stood here, and they've both been big fish as well. So it's looking good this end of the lake, I've got to say. I think the one person that could run them close though is Trigg, looking at how many fish were topping in front of him towards that island.
I think he's got to go out towards that island a little bit more though, fishing it short. He was foul hooking too many, like you say, the presentation there isn't good.
No.
There's a lot of bigger fish out there, and here it is. Blocker's got his net underneath that one.
Fish.
Not quite as big as I thought it was going to be, but nevertheless it is a decent fish. Again, another 7-8 pounder. Yeah. 3 of those, you take out what the lads up there have caught in the first hour.
Yeah, and it doesn't take long at all on that lead.
Peg 2 now, and this is Adrian Twist, qualified at Partridge Lakes. One of the favoured pegs down here, peg 2. Reasonable wind blowing into the bay, and he's on a small point. He's got Dave Burly to his right hand side, Sam Brown to the other side of him, and there's a few fish started to come out from this end now. It's game on in this little section of 3. Down here there's 3 keen anglers all looking for these decent carp, and it looks like Adrian is leading the race at the moment. He's having quite a steady match, Adrian. He seems to be in the lead out of these 3, Cal.
Yeah, he's looking good on the bomb again. Seems like most people have started to swap to the bomb now in these conditions.
And here is Dave Burley playing a fish as well. He's just been on his feet. He's got a snag or something out in front of him. He's just trying to negotiate his carp around that, but he seems to have got control of it now. He's a consistent angler up here, Dave, isn't he?
Yeah, he knows the venue really well, and that little area where he is now, I think where they built the lake, the little back bit there, there's an odd snag there, an odd rock that was left in the lake, and I'm sure that's why he was up on his feet pulling extremely hard, but it seems like he's got it away from it now, and it should be in the net soon.
Very consistent, been in 4 Match This finals, and he knows this lake very well indeed. He was quite happy with this peg. He knows there's the odd problem out there, and he feels that with this wind blowing down, there's going to be a bit of back tow coming back. It's going to turn it round, and the carp will back off the fresh wind and move a little bit further up the lake to him.
I've actually seen 2 or 3 fish top whilst he's been playing that right where he's fishing, so there's obviously a few fish in the area.
Important to get these things under control, isn't it? Adrian Twist next door still playing his. Things are really starting to pick up here at Hayfield as both of the anglers opposite us get their nets at the ready. We're looking currently at Adrian Twist. Dave Burley just to his right hand side is chasing a fish around as well, just off the camera shot. He's got it. So Dave Burley, we hear the round of applause from the other side. That's a big fish. Oh, he snapped his landing net there. He's got the fish. It's a very big one indeed. That's a good mid-double creature, and it's cost him a landing net handle, that.
Yeah. I have to go and change that now.
Behind Andy Bennett now in peg 23, and unfortunately we can only see the back of his head, and also another gentleman by the side of him. Now that other man that's hooded up is Paul Holland, very experienced match angler, and he's just thrown a few pellets in by hand there on his short line. And let's talk about Paul's role in this. Paul is known as his bank runner, isn't he? What's he going to be doing? It's like having a decent caddy, isn't it?
Yeah, well, basically one of the most important things in match fishing for me is assessing what weight you need to catch and what method you need to be on at what point in the match. When you've got someone like Paul behind you, they can assist you in those decisions. You can spend more time watching your float, concentrating on what you're doing. So it's just a massive help if you can have someone experienced behind you, just to guide you in the right direction.
He's staying on the slightly longer line. The bomb and pellet seems to be the way forwards at the moment. That's producing the better stamp of fish. And we are around about an hour and a half in now, perhaps a little bit longer than that.
Hour and 40, yeah.
And we think, what, £50
yeah,
here?
Yeah, I think after speaking to some of the guys in the crowd, £50 are a good estimation of what he's got. So that's a really good rate as well. I mean, I thought £100 would be brilliant today, and he's caught 50 in an hour and 40. So if he can just steady away, he's going to end up with a really decent weight.
Yeah, I have to say that I think the weather conditions as they are, if the conditions stay like this, it's a good low pressure. These carp are going to feed. They're going to feed a little bit better later on as well. Yeah. They started quite well actually in some places, finicky in others, but I'm going to stick my neck out and say 150, 160 pounds. So what, 75 kilo?
Yeah, that's not a bad guess. That looking at what they've caught so far, and it's always the same. That last hour is always really good for these big fish. So someone could put on the scale 60, 70 pounds in the last hour. So it's not far wrong that weight at all.
Le Chameau proudly sponsors On the Bank. Le Chameau proudly sponsors On the Bank.
Well, it's the halfway stage in the game now, and as you can see, the sun is out. It's completely different from what it was earlier, but it's been a really, really interesting start for the match so far. Jamie Hughes and Craig Edmonds, they were the ones that started setting the pace, weren't they, up this end?
Yeah, it was quite surprising really, because I thought with that wind in the direction it was, the guys at the bottom end of the lake would have a really good start, but it seems to be this end of the lake where they've really caught well early.
Yeah, there's going to be one or two others that come up there, I would think, but that wood side is very, very quiet at the moment.
Yeah, notoriously a little bit harder, a little bit colder, that bank in these conditions because of the shade. But when the sun comes round, that bank does really get good towards the end of the match, so you never know.
Well, it's out now, and you know, one of the things that I really like about this place is if you look back through the history, you know, it was won last year down there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was won in previous years. That battle with John Wincup and Jamie Hughes that John Wincup just won, that was over there. It's been won from this side, it's been won from the corner of the point. There are favoured areas, but there isn't necessarily one area that wins it. It's not like some of the other competitions where you know you've got to be in one of 3 or 4 pegs.
Yeah, it's a really nice venue, and that's why it's so unpredictable. They're big fish, and you don't know exactly where they're going to be. You don't need to catch massive numbers of fish. 10, 12 big fish, and you're in the race. So that's why different areas are always good.
Absolutely. Well, we're halfway at the moment. The sun is out. The back half of the match is always very different to the front half. There's going to be a carp race later on. Mark my words on that. And the big thing on my mind now is, will this sun have a bit of a difference? Will it bring it up? Is the wind going to drop? Could the pellet waggler come in? Loads and loads of questions. Let's find out what the answers are. Well, let's have a look at Jamie Hughes there in the distance, just in front of that red buoy. And my word, as he turned his game around, he was doing really well to begin with, but he's put his foot down over the last half an hour or so since we had that conversation about halfway, and my word, he's got to be close to 80, 85 pound now, well and truly in the lead.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a change of tactics. He swapped to a lead. The sun's come out and he's just nicking out of that wind, and seems to be a lot of fish in that area, and he's doing really well now. He is starting to put a big weight together.
You know, if you put fish in front of Jamie Hughes, he's going to catch them without any shadow of doubt. And if he's got a few of them, I can't see beyond him at the moment, you know.
He is looking very, very strong at the moment. His peg looks really nice with this sun come out just outside of that wind. And the way he's catching at the moment, he's going to be very, very difficult to beat because he isn't going to make any mistakes. He's a natural born winner. He's not going to make a mistake. He's not going to bottle it. So yeah, he's looking good.
You know, one of the things I'll say about Jamie is that the pressure isn't going to have any effect on him whatsoever. He's been in this match so many times. I spoke to him before and he said, actually, and I'll quote him on this, he wants this so badly he would actually swap his Fishomania wins for it, because he now thinks that this is the bigger match and the harder match to win.
That is a lot. saying a lot.
That's a
for
big
three-time
statement.
Fishing Mania champion.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a big statement, that is.
And he's a lovely angler. I was out with him because he's part of the same team as me. I was out with him a few weeks ago. We were doing an underwater feature, and his attention to detail and accuracy below the surface is absolutely incredible. A lot of the time when I go out with guys, I'll tell them what's happening and they'll ask questions and say, oh yeah, I thought it might be that. Jamie actually told me what was going to be happening before I went down, and he was right.
He's obviously a thinker, and he thinks about his fishing and just catches so many fish wherever he goes. You know, F1 fishing, carp fishing. There you go, another one in the bag for him. And he's, like I said before, a natural born winner, and he's looking strong now.
Well, this is a man that needs a little bit of attention at the moment, just looking over the top of the fountain at peg number 17, and this is Rob Harbour. He's had a bit of a run over the last 20 minutes, half an hour or so. He's landed 2 big ghosties, another couple of decent carp. We've got him pegged on or just over 50 odd pound. Jamie Hughes looking like he's in the region of 70 to 80 pound, but he's had this fish on for a long time as Rob, and we need to see exactly what this is. If it's a big one, he's going to close that gap.
Oh, it looks really big as well.
He's just got the net underneath it there. No, it's one hand.
Yeah.
You always know from a distance.
One hand, yeah.
If there's 2 hands on the net, it's going to be a big one, but that's a good 6 or 7 pounds again.
Yeah. He's still staying in touch with Jamie. Jamie's just lost a couple of fish the last 10 minutes. So yeah, we've definitely got a match on between these two. And I know Rob's been doing extremely well in practice matches up here. The first match he ever saw the venue, he's turned up and won. So yeah, good match.
This is a man that's definitely worthwhile a look at, and this is John Ashwell. He's next door to Jamie Hughes, and I think a lot of the time, you know, when there's a very famous angler or a front runner, people tend to look at them rather than looking at the guys next door. And John's fishing a very, very tidy match at the moment. We can see he's playing a fish at the moment. It's a carp, and he's got to be on now. Well, he's had a few over the last few minutes. He's got to be 50 to 60 pounds, so he could be nipping at Jamie's heels, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely not. He's not a mile ahead, and John's a very good angler. I fished for him at Harbour quite a bit, and yeah, he wins loads of matches. So it's going to be a good match till the end now between those two.
Well, the wind's dropping off this part of the lake at the moment. It's still blowing right the way down at the bottom end, but it's looking a very nice, neat. Oh, he's got it. Looking a very nice, neat area to be fishing at the moment. Presentation's going to be good. This fish moving on the surface now in front of us here.
A pellet waggler's got to be going through some of their mines.
Any minute. Yeah, absolutely. Any minute.
100% are going to come up in the water.
Well, let's have a look. There's a lot of people to try and keep our eyes on over here, and whilst we're looking at John, obviously Craig Edmonds down there, he's working a little bit of magic too, and he could well come back into the game. He was in it to begin with. He fell off the pace a little bit, but a very quick strike after a cast, you know, that's quick feeding fish, and if that's pellet waggler, that's a weight builder.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't see him not having a good end to the match. I know how many fish are in that area. We saw how many fish were topping there this morning.
Yeah. No, he's on the bomb.
No, he's still on the bomb.
He's on the bomb, but that was a quick bite.
That peg there in particular is an area where the fish tend to finish the match. It's like a bit of a sanctuary, that area of the lake. So 4 or 5 quick fish from Drigg now, he could be right back in the race.
And John is there, and he's got one next door too. Jamie Hughes up on his feet on the right hand side of the picture. John sitting down on the left hand side of the picture. Who is going to get there fishing first? Jamie hooked it first. John looks like he's making a little bit more headway. Jamie's really giving it the butt there. It's kited round to his left hand side. He's just standing up, leaning into it and just pumping it straight back in again. Out of the way. But John's already on the landing net. Net in hand, ready to go. And if it comes to a fish race like this, that efficiency is massively important, Carl.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you lose a fish, it's double the time, you know, so if you're better off just taking a little bit more time with your fish and getting every single one in.
Doncaster's finest out in the crowds watching one of the biggest sporting events in the angling calendar, and John's landed it. Slightly smaller fish than we thought it might be, but that was a very quick bite. Landed it quickly, and if you look at the time it's taken in comparison with Jamie's, he had the bite after him, he's landed it before. Big question now then is, how big is this fish of Jamie Hughes, because we know that he's no slouch when it comes to getting him in quickly.
It does look a really big fish now Jamie's playing. He's taking his time with it, keeps kiting round to his left, so it's indicating that it's a really big fish.
We're going to start to hear the cheers from the Jamie Hughes Support Club as this one goes over the net. It's always interesting with big matches, isn't it? The atmosphere develops. There's a little bit of banter to begin with. Then it sets into the middle stages, and then as the spectators have the odd refreshment, the banter seems to pick up a little bit.
The bar runs seem to increase as the match goes on. But it is good. It's a great day. Oh, it's big fish.
Oh, that's moved a bit of water, that.
Yeah.
Can you see it? Yeah, that's moved a fair amount of water. He's just reaching over for his net now. Once again, there's going to be a question about will it go in, but it's gone in first time of asking. Look at that, the tail's hanging out the back. There's a round of applause from the crowd as Jamie Hughes puts himself even further in the lead here on an absolutely magnificent day up at Maver Mega Match This. It's like a game of tennis up here. You don't know which way to look, do you? John Ashwell now playing fish, and it is proving to be a real battle with these three anglers. Jamie Hughes has got the neck at the moment, I would say. And then it's a close run thing between Craig Edmonds and John Ashwell. And John Ashwell seems to be just that little bit faster. But having said that, we're just talking about John Ashwell playing fish, and would you believe it, Craig Edmonds has got one on as well.
Yeah, see, he's just going away nicely. He's not. The difference is Jamie and John, they'll catch 2 or 3 really quickly. Then all of a sudden they won't be getting bites. Craig just seems to be so much more steady. Just an odd bite every now and again, and I think his catch rate's just going to increase and increase towards the end of the match.
Let's have a look. Landing it at the ready. These fish seem to be that little bit smaller for John, though. I think they're sort of 3 to 5 pound fish.
The fish that Jamie hooking seem to be massive. That looks like a decent fish Craig's got on now there.
And he's got it. That is actually a decent fish. Well, let's have a look at Jamie. He's just rooting another rod out. And is that going to be a pellet waggler rod, do you reckon?
I can't see it being anything else. The conditions have gone so perfect for a waggler now.
Well, it was interesting. I was chatting to him earlier about whether or not he was going to fish that, and yeah, it is. I've just seen it there. Yeah. He'd more or less dismissed it because the weather forecast was for it to rain through the course of the afternoon and the wind to increase as opposed to decrease. But that storm came through just before the halfway stage, poured it down with rain, and it's just opened up into a lovely day now. And Jamie Hughes is the first man on the bank that we've seen yet to reach over for the pellet waggler. There's fish moving in front of him. We've seen them. They're definitely up in the water.
That could be the game changer for him. If he chucks that out and starts getting bites, it could be all over. He's just starting to slow up on that lead now.
That'll almost certainly be why he's just changed over now. He's got about an hour and 20 minutes left.
Yeah. And notoriously, they do feed shallow late on this lake, so it's not a bad ploy. The thing is about it, when you chuck a waggler out, if there's a few fish in your peg, you're going to get some indication straight away. You're going to get in a bite or hook a fish pretty instantly, so it's a nice way of knowing where the fish are in your peg.
Just looking down the match length there, and Andy Power is the man on the end of that line, and I've just seen him cast, strike, reel in and cast again, and he's already moved over to the pellet waggler too. So great minds think alike, and you've got to say that if both Jamie Hughes and Andy Power think it's pellet waggler time, it's got to be worth a look.
Could well be that. Oh, Jamie's got another one.
Andy's going to know that he's out the game and he's got to do something drastic now, so there's absolutely nothing to lose. You can put a massive weight together in a short period of time, particularly I think if you're the first one to do it. You know, you get those fish grouped up on your pellet.
If he can really increase his feed and dominate that little area that he's in, it could be brilliant. That wag for the last hour. And he's still got his section to fish for, even if he's a mile behind. He's still got his section and second and third to fish for, so I'm sure that'll be going through his head.
There's a bit of a disappointment now for Andy Bennett. He looked like he was going so well up to just before the halfway mark, and since then his wheels have come off.
It's just incredible really, because he's had such a good start, and the stamp of fish he was catching were so big. I really fancied him to catch steady all match, but since we left about an hour and 90 minutes in, I don't think he's caught much at all. I think he's caught 2 crassios since then. So
it's almost as if somebody turned the lights off. When that storm came through and that big squall, it's almost like it blew his fish away.
Yeah, you called it earlier, the pressure changing. It does weird things to fish at times, and they seem to, since the pressure's changed, they seem to just come up into this area where Jamie and Trig is. I think it might be just a touch shallower up here. That bit where Andy is very, very deep there. So I think this bit of a shallower end is where the fish want to be now.
Le Chameau proudly sponsors On the Bank.
Right then, this is the test now. Back with Jamie, and we've had a complete change of tactic. He's got the pellet waggler out, he's been feeding it. We've seen him gill feeding, we've seen fizz. And if there's a bite in the next 2 or 3 minutes,
it could be game over with that.
Absolutely.
What if you actually see there, the fish are actually turning over in his pellets. So when he's firing his pellets in, you're just getting the fish come into him and eating them, turning over in them. So I'll be amazed if you don't get some indications on this pellet waggler now.
Fish coming out next door to him. There's a few around. But it just looks too good now for the pellet wag.
I just can't see him not getting a few bites on that before the end.
All right, we're hearing the out. Oh, there we go. That's a bite.
Second cast.
Yeah. Andy Kinder just about to give us the last hour report. Tight run thing between these three.
5 grand, yeah.
So the officials at the moment are scoring Jamie Hughes on 100, Craig Edmonds on 70. There's fish moving in front of Jamie. Float is now in the water, and let's just have a little look at that. And that was an indication straight away. All the anglers out there will know exactly what we're looking at. The float will land there. You see 2 splashes float on the right hand side, pellet just behind it. And the tactic here is that the pellet will be sinking slowly for about 2 feet below the surface. So let's just look at the process now. He's just fed. He's going to cast out on top. If he's going to get a bite, he's going to get a bite very, very quickly indeed. And there he is. Look, that is exactly how quick it is, and that's a proper fish. That's what he was waiting for. It's taken him 5 minutes.
Yeah.
For normal mortal people, 5 minutes would be a reasonable time to wait. For Jamie, we thought we might get one in about 2. But nevertheless, he's got one.
But he did get some indications very, very quickly there.
Yeah.
And he's made it count now.
You watch everybody around him now feel a little bit nervous, because the one thing that this is a very good way of building a weight very quickly. Just talk us through the tactics then. What will he be using? What pellets will he be using, Carl?
He'd be using 8mm pellets. And I would have thought he'd be using exactly the same on the hook as what he's feeding, because when the fish are feeding shallow, they really are coming into the bait. There's no need to fish a different hook bait. I don't expect he'll have any weight down the line below the float. He'll just be plopping it out there, and one thing he is doing is just casting past where he's feeding his pellets. If he doesn't get a bite straight away, he's bringing his float back into his pellets and refeeding again. It's just some real nice process he's going through. He'll have big strong gear on, strong lines, strong hook lengths. Fishing small lines and small hook lengths doesn't really make a lot of difference with pellet waggler fishing. That's why he's so deadly, really.
Everybody's going to be following suit soon. And he's got that. Oh no, he's not got that.
Now he has.
Now he's got it. Now he's got it. Back with Trig again, he's on the pole. He's come short, and look at that, he's attached to a bit of a donkey there as well.
Unbelievable how quick,
He's got it.
Unbelievable how quick that was. Dropped his rig in, immediately under. Last little surge from Trig now.
Yeah, but you know what's interesting me at the moment is that you would have thought with half an hour, 20 minutes, 15 minutes to go, everybody's going to have a method, everybody's going to have a rhythm. They're either down the edge or they've got something going. But actually both Trig, Jamie and some of the other runners and riders around this lake, they're trying a few things, catching a few, but then it's dropping off. And there's been nothing really, really steady. No. You know, the bomb and pellet has been the key for these two lads all the way through. Yeah. Things are getting remarkably tight and tense down here. Oh, yes. It's in for Craig Edmonds.
Really is an unbelievable finish. There's so many big fish being hooked now all the way around the lake, especially in this area now.
And there it is. That is it. Match This 2019 is over. The big question now, has the man that we're looking at, Jamie Hughes, done enough? Will he be one to make history? He's had an absolutely brilliant match. He's going to be off his box and he's going to go up and he's going to see his good lady behind now. Mate, that was an absolute ding-dong scrap there at the end. Just talk us through your match.
Well, to be honest, I've made a few mistakes in the middle. I've I set my stall up really. I really thought I was going to catch on a bomb and pellet, and I kept at it. Didn't quite happen. I changed my method, had a few fish, but probably should have just swapped and changed a little bit more, nicked a few fish here. Probably should have got on my short line a little bit earlier because it rocked up last 15 minutes, but it is what it is.
It seemed like nothing really was settled for any long period of time. You'd get something going and then you'd have to change it.
That's exactly what it was. It was you get 2 or 3 fish, and then just as you thought you were going to rock up, you had to change, and we probably worked out a little bit too late. Should have maybe swapped and changed it around the middle of the match, extra few fish. But yeah, I think I've come up short by probably 25, 30 pound, I reckon. But well, I've enjoyed it.
We'll see. You've had a good run rate. You're looking disappointed now, but that was a good performance.
I've made a few mistakes. Definitely felt I could have got a little bit closer. Whether I could have beat him, Jamie, or not, I mean, he's a brilliant angler. Let's be honest. He's fished a great match, so all credit to him. So, but no, I'm happy. I'm happy. I've had a great day, so I can't moan.
I think it's one hand on the trophy for you, mate, at the moment. How are you feeling?
Oh, I don't know. I'm all.
Stick a hand out.
All the adrenaline. I actually got the first time ever. I was struggling to. I had my baiting needle, put my bait on. I had to put them against my chest to do it.
I've got to say, we were watching, and the Iceman. You were looking down and back and two and back and two. Next door, I think John's done very well as well.
Yeah, I think John will be closer than Craig potentially.
Yeah, I think he might be, but we've got you 20, 25 pound ahead at the moment. So here we go. We'll find out very soon. But what an absolutely magnificent match. Just talk us through the day.
It's gone not as expected, but it's been quite a simple match. I mean, I started short, caught a couple, and I thought, right, this is gonna really go this, and then it fizzled, and I thought, right, I'll go long and I'll catch one a chuck on pole. And I went long and it wasn't right. I think my feeding was a bit messy, just because of the wind, and again, rig presentation was a bit just not right. So probably an hour in, I thought, right, I'm not going to win doing this. So I fed my bomb probably 3 times, chucked on it, and it went round, and that was it. From then on, it was a bomb match. Although I did have a little panic halfway through, when I saw a couple of fish swirl, and I'd not set a waggler up this morning, which I really, really should have done. But conditions first thing were shocking. But I've had a little scramble, set up a waggler, but look, I've caught 2 fish with probably 12 pound on that. So.
And it just goes to show how quickly you've got to make those decisions, because actually those 2 fish might be the difference, mightn't they?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. My bank runner nearly didn't let me do it either, so no, I'll be happy.
We were all thinking it was a good move, and actually we were discussing over there from the commentary box just before that at some stage very soon somebody's going to get a pellet waggler out, and of course it was you. Mate, it's been an absolute joy to watch. I'm going to wish you the very best of luck with that.
Thank you very much.
I think you are so close, it's unbelievable.
Super.
It's not quite as close as it was when I saw you in the rain back in with John Wincup, and I suspect the pendulum's going to go your way this time. But good luck, we'll soon find out.
Thank you very much, Ross.
So Craig Edmonds now and peg 9. So far, match leader is Andy Power from peg 4. He's won the bottom end section, 30 kilos, 700.
17 kilos, 950.
So we have the final weigh coming in there. Craig Edmonds takes the lead, 53 kilos, 25. That is well over the £100. That's a lot more than we thought it was going to be. Craig Edmonds has put a fantastic weight on the net there. 53 kilos. We'd pegged him at 90, he's just put in the region of £120 on this. Could cause a shock now. Has Jamie Hughes done enough? So here it is now, moments of truth. Tense faces around the arena up here at Hayfield. 53 kilo and 25 to beat. Jamie Hughes is now in the spotlight. Has he done enough? What is it going to be? It needs to be more than really 11 kilos to give him some breathing space. There's smiles and congratulations. 14 kilos, 300. Jamie Hughes takes the lead. Is it enough? 14 kilos, 300. That gives him a grand total of 56 kilos, 800. Jamie Hughes currently in the lead in this enormous match. So this is it, just one net to weigh now for our last competitor. Jamie knows he's got it. He's just seen the net. He can't smile, he can't cheer yet until the weight has been announced, but once it has, you can see the tension on the face. He's wanted this so much. He's a very, very popular and deserving champion indeed. There's going to be a massive cheer for Jamie as soon as this weight is announced. Absolutely brilliant performance throughout the course of the day. It's academic now what this weight is. We know it's not going to do it, but until it has been announced, We're not going to know. Mark Stainsby, 10 kilo. That means the new champion is this man in front of us, Jamie Hughes. Congratulations from his team manager. Give us a hug, fella. Oh. Hey. It's a Hughes thing, it really is. Mate, well done, well done. What an absolutely brilliant performance. You've got it, there we go, it's official, it's official. Well, that's it for an absolutely fantastic event. What a day it's been, what a venue, what a competition, and what a champion. A very, very worthy winner indeed. Jamie Hughes, the new Match This champion.
Le Chameau proudly sponsors On the Bank.